can't stop. I got motion. I'm moving. I'm going. Can't lose focus. I got motion. I'm moving. I'm going.
Red Corner Boxing. We're in the game.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's take two of the Sunday review session with Mr. Neutral, Jams and Blunts Boxing. Now, we were rudely interrupted by our studio, broken down on us once again, but we're back up and running. It's 6:30. Let's get rocking and rolling back to what we were talking about. Now, welcome back, Blunts, of course, from Blunts and Boxing. Our panelist here on Red Corner Boxing. And yes, here we try once again. Jams is with me as well, my co-founder here at Red Corner Boxing. And he was up last night doing the watch along on behalf of the channel. Blunts and Boxing was watching as an avid fan, not only of boxing, but also his spaces on X. And if you're going to make sure you tune in on X tomorrow night, 6 o'clock UK time, where he'll be doing his wonderful space. But let's get back into what we were talking about. And that was last night's card in New York, Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson. We'll do that card, then we'll quickly go through the other cards that happened last night as well. So if you're at home, sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee, chill out, put your feet up, and let's talk boxing. Now, Shakur Stevenson topped the bill last night with that emphatic win. I use this word, loosely because I ran out of words to describe that performance. To be fair, last night, and where it wasn't a tremendous fight, what it was a masterclass in picking apart a champion boxer, and he'd never fought at 140 before, and the way he went up, didn't lose a round to two-time lineal champion, two-weight, three-weight world champion, is it? I can't remember two-weight, in Teofimo Lopez, and dismantled them, Blunts. Would you say that was not only a masterclass, but has propelled Shakur Stevenson into pound-for-pound arguments?
I definitely do. I mean, you look at it, it was without a doubt a masterclass. I mean, there could be arguments that was a 12-0 fight. If we want to be generous, we can say 10-2.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be forgotten. I mean, I think a lot of people are forgetting. Teofimo was ranked by just about every publication within the top 10, pound for pound. And this means something. I mean, Shakur was in the back half of the top 10 as well as Teofimo. But to beat an individual who is considered your rival, I think Teofimo definitely a rival of Shakur, to do so and beat him so convincingly, I just, in my opinion, that is such a tremendous feat in which we just saw the Shakur do. And that's why I do believe, I think we're going to start seeing Shakur maybe number 3, number 4, pound for pound in the world.
I think he goes number 3, mate. I think he jumps above Ayad Bam at number 3 recently. I put Shakur right up there now. 4-division world champion, just absolutely took over the takeover. It was a phenomenal performance.
I have to agree with you, Jams, and both you as well, Blunts. It was a career-defining win that you've got to say to yourselves, take any doubt out of your mind about this guy now. About his chin, about his hands, about, take away the doubt about his chin, because you just can't hit him. I've never seen a defensive masterclass without stepping back on the back foot. Would you agree with that, gents?
Absolutely. What's the art of boxing, Mr. Neutral? It's hit and don't get hit, and nobody does that better than Shakur Stevenson. The Newark native is an absolute, he's just a skill general. You can't get to him, you can't hurt him, so how do you beat him? Teofimo found out last night that's not an easy task, and I can't see anyone in the 140 division, or even up at 147. Devin Haney would probably be his best challenge if he went up to 147. Other than that, there ain't a boxer out there who could beat him, in my opinion.
It's actually interesting to me because if we look at it at one, he's still supposedly going to hold the belt at 135, possibly move back down. He's currently at 140 pounds, which is one of the probably heaviest divisions, one of the deepest. And then 147. I mean, he's argued that he's willing to move up to 147 for specific fights. I mean, this guy who's, if I remember, he's 27, 28 years old. He's already solidified himself with just this last fight to be a Hall of Famer. That's a Hall of Fame resume and Hall of Fame performance we just saw against, again, the lineal champion. It is so, it's, and you guys were talking about it. I hate always trying to say that he reminds me of Floyd, but to a degree, that's as close to what we've gotten pertaining to that type of defensive skill at the highest level of the sport, where we're seeing a guy who averaged usually about, I think at 140 pounds, Teofimo was averaging about 800 to 900 punches thrown in around in a fight. And then he would always connect at about 30 to 40%. He just got pushed down to throwing 300 punches and landing at less than 15%. I mean, what a crazy, crazy thing we saw.
I know. It's the reduction of a champion to looking like a journeyman. Teofimo Lopez was lost from round one. Lost, I tell you. He was lunging. He couldn't find his angles. He couldn't find range. And when he got close enough to find range, he was beaten to the punch before Teofimo could even think about throwing his own. As I say, gentlemen, I think this even surpasses anything that Floyd Mayweather did at 140 pound, 135 pound in that performance alone. You know, it was Floyd-esque in a way, but it was more refined because Floyd would get hit. Shakur didn't get hit. He was smiling all the way through that fight. It was ridiculous. And as you say, Blunt's being a 2-week lineal champion, in that fashion, without losing a round, without hardly breaking sweat, and bust him up. Jams, it was incredible.
It was, mate, yeah. And it went exactly how I said it would. This is exactly what I've been saying since the fight was announced. I said that Shakur will box his ears off. Tio's obviously a world-class, even some would say elite fighter. But Shakur's on a different level. And I've said this from the start. You don't have to be a fan of Shakur because he's not in exciting fights. The De Los Santos fight where he ran the whole time, people criticise him. But he does what he has to do to win. And he absolutely put a beat down and schooled a world-class elite boxer in Teofimo Lopez. You can't ask for more from Shakur. But yet he'll still have his haters. People still saying he's not good enough. He's got brittle hands. What more do they want this lad to do to prove that he is elite? He's an Olympian. He's done it all. He's 4-division world champion. I don't see what else people want him to do to prove that he is up there with the very best.
Yeah. And at 28, now, the world's his oyster. Matchroom have got massive options with him. As Blunt said, he still retains titles at 135 pounds. He could go back down. It's a nice pool. And I would suggest that the 140 division, there's nothing there amongst the three other champions in, I think it's Hitchens, Russell, and Dalton Smith, that he can't beat and go undisputed by the time all within 1 year.
Easily, mate. I'll tell you what I would like to see, though, Neutral. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. I'd love to see him in with the winner of Hirooka and Antoine Russell. That'd be a good little mix-up.
Well, yeah, because it's unification. Blunt's,
in my opinion,
tell me what. Yeah, no, tell me what the Americans think.
I think, and I don't know. I mean, this is what's unique. Americans, we're very, unique when it comes to our belief in who Shakur should be fighting and what's considered a legitimately good fight. In my opinion, if we're talking solely as boxing fans, I think we all should want Shakur to move back down to 135 and take on Raymond Muratalia for a unification fight. And not just that, number one versus number two, when there is no lineal title, what does that do? That gives us a lineal champion. So that being able, if we can get that, that gives Shakur, if he can do it this year, a 3-division lineal champion holder by the time
is-
he's 28 years old. I mean, that to me, that's exactly exceptional.
Yeah. He's now the 140-pound lineal champion. My only worry is with these kind of things happening, gentlemen, when boxers move up and they're 4-weight world champions, the inclination is not to go back. Very few in history have actually done that. He may well do. He's young enough. He's fresh enough. He's only got 25 fights. It's not like, there were some boxers at 28 years of age. I remember Marvin Hagler, something ridiculous like 66 fights at 30 years of age. And he's nowhere near that. He's fresher than most of your champions around it. This pound for pound champions. As I said, broad the horizons here. And Shakur Stevenson can go on to be a generational, absolute icon. Because I don't see anybody beating him at 140. I don't see anybody beating him at 147 should he go up. Never mind a Haney or a Brian Norman or anyone like that. It's too skillful. The art of not get hit blunts. This is the sweet science we all crave for as hardcore. It wasn't pleasant on the eye as casuals last night. They want to see a brawl. They got to see a bit of blood. That's because over the course of 12 rounds, he got busted up. Do you agree?
100%. It's kind of a unique situation where I think I've heard actually some people argue that it wasn't an entertaining fight. I've heard people argue that it was the same old Shakur. But to a degree, I feel like these are fickle fans. I think you brought up a great point that we did see blood, but that was over a course of several rounds from the amount of damage that Shakur was able to implement. But still, I mean, this is boxing. It's a sport that, as James said so eloquently, and which we're constantly reminded, this is a sport of hit and don't get hit. And Shakur did that to perfection. So in my opinion, while it's not the most entertaining fight, it was definitely a fight that probably will go down historically for Shakur.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, the skill set alone pays for the fight. Watching Shakur, it's if you really love boxing, you've got to enjoy Shakur's work. His movement, the jabs, the way he pulls away from shots and then still lands. It looks almost magic. He's that kind of skill. He's that kind of skill level. I can't say enough about how good he is. He genuinely is a generational talent. And he's going to be hard to beat at any division, to be honest. Because you've got to hit him. And not many men can.
Absolutely correct. And Jams, you've been calling it for a while about Shakur. I didn't believe you're doing those. He is an absolute masterclass of a technician. Right. So, as we all know, he's with Matchroom. So, knowing Eddie, anything can happen. He could,
They better not be Conor Benn at 147.
Well, this is that.
That was a joke, him getting in the ring. What the hell was Conor Benn doing there with all them champions and getting in the ring like he's something? What the hell was that?
So
embarrassing.
He's the UK PPV star, con to him and Eddie.
I'd have loved him egg at the cunt if I were there. Excuse my language.
I know, but look, let's say that. Let's close off Shakur Stevenson now. We know what we're dealing with now. The question is how far can he go, and who's the man that's going to expose him one day? We could debate that till Kingdom Come. But let's move to the undercard. Keyshawn Davis and what's his name? Jermaine Ortiz. It was a bit of a weird fight, would you agree, gentlemen? Because it started off not too well for Keyshawn, but then he grew into the fight, and then he was walking out his opponent and dominated it from there on until that. Quite frankly, a beautiful knockout in the 12th round. Talking of stock going up as well as Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis went some way into redeeming himself once.
It's kind of unique because going into the fight, I had stated that Ortiz would be kind of a measuring stick for us boxing fans to see exactly how talented Davis is and how he can deal with different styles and so on and so forth. Because obviously Ortiz had only lost to some of the best fighters within his division, being Lomachenko and Lopez. It was kind of interesting because, as you had stated at first, it was looking like a struggle. It was looking like possibly it could go down as a split decision or a majority draw, a majority decision type of situation. And then all of a sudden, we see Davis all of a sudden start implementing his game plan on Ortiz. It wasn't a great fight to watch, in my opinion. It was kind of very unique, very at times ugly. But then to see the resolve in Keyshawn Davis and figure out what to do, and the fact that he continued to attack the body so viciously, you could see Ortiz, who often is a mover, suddenly slow down. And you started realizing, man, he's chopping that tree down. So it's interesting. I think in this case, what we saw was, at least Keyshawn position himself maybe within the top 10, maybe top 5 at 140 pounds solely with that win. But I just can't say that he furthered my belief that he would just completely dismantle any division he's in. I need to see more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
agree.
point.
Jams, I want to come to you next with a point here. He made his debut at 140 pounds along with Shakur Stevenson. They are friends. Does that limit Keyshawn Davis's options at 140? Maybe he has to move on.
Well, it could do, but there's other champions out there. As we said, Antoine Russell, Hirooka, you got Dalton Smith. Keyshawn's got opportunities, mate, and he did himself a lot of favours last night because a lot of people have lost faith in him. He was the rising star. Everyone was talking about the DB3, Keyshawn Davis, how good he is, Norfolk native. He's going to do this, that, the other. And then he had that stinking night where he failed weight against De Los Santos. Then his brother lost to Nahir Albright. He kicked off. We all know the story. And then he starts posing about Andy Cruz losing like he's beaten when he's 4-0 to him in the amateurs. Giving it Johnny Big Nuts, you know what I mean? Just showed himself up, made himself look a bit of a clown. We needed him to come back and put on a statement to get him back in talk of real boxing rather than a joker outside the ring. And to be honest, he stopped the man that Lomachenko, I know he's not a banger, but he didn't stop him, and Tio couldn't stop him. Jermaine Ortiz is tough, tried and true. And he got him out of there, mate, with a beautiful body shot in the 12th round. So we've got to start saying again that Keyshawn is a real competitor. I'm not saying he's a world beater. He's not on Shakur's level by no means, in my opinion. But there's good fights to be made for Keyshawn Davis, as long as he stops all the bullshit outside the ring.
Great points. Same to you, Blunt.
You know what? It's interesting. I was almost thinking while I was listening to James talk, should we start considering Keyshawn to be like a body snatcher? Because, man, at the highest level right now, he has been just dismantling his opposition by just ripping these guys' body apart. I think Keyshawn's in a unique case, being the division he's in. It's not going to be easy for him to get a title. I think it might actually be quite difficult for him to pick up a title outside of Shakur doing exactly what he has stated in the past, relinquishing that WBO, because who's ranked number 1 in the WBO? I think Keyshawn's in a unique situation. I'm excited for his future. I don't have much more to say.
Yeah, you lit a light bulb there in me. He could well go back to 135 pounds and campaign there again, and just give up his WBO belt. Of course, his good friend is in line to pick that up. There was a sort of a picnic fight for Shakur. I just want to get to some of the comments before we move on very quickly. Big up to Pat, DJ Pat in the house. We got Dave as well. Any of y'all missing some top here? Well, I certainly am. And that was embarrassing for Mr. Jarrell Miller, but he took it well, gentlemen. Had us a bit of fun to the night. We got Jabby Boxing in the house. Big up, my man. He's joined us on Prediction League, doing very well. Bronx is in third place in League 2. He says he didn't exactly expect that masterclass from Shakur, and he was wrong in part of that. And big up to Gona 11248. Guna, I think.
That's
He
Bob.
says,
That's Bob.
Bob, he's loving
Yeah.
to beat Haley. And Gona was picking fights with everyone, to be honest. Looked a bit out of place all week. I seen was him starting beef. And I think that's what Eddie sort of brought him along to do is, look, you're a bit of a PP star. Get arguing with everybody, get a name, so get people talking about you. It's what's been happening since he beat Eubank, to be fair. And they're just continuation of that. Let's
Hey,
move on to... Yes,
Yeah, just
sorry,
before you
mate.
do, Neutral, he's actually saying at the minute, Conor Benn, he said in an interview yesterday that he thinks Chris Eubank Jr. is going to call him for a fight at super middleweight at 168.
What did I tell you? What did I
You
tell
called
you?
it. You called
I
it.
called it. The trilogy will happen at super middleweight. Conor Benn's lost no weight. If you looked at him all fight week, he looks about 160 pounds still.
Easily. Yeah.
So if he had any intentions of being serious and going back to 147 pounds, he would have been in that gym all the time. And it's just not happening for him. And
DJ
the
Patch
fact,
has made a good point, mate, about Eddie Hearn said about Keyshawn Davis maybe fighting Lewis Crocker in Belfast.
that's a great fight. And that's, to me, is probably
That's
his
one he
best
could win. That's a
chance.
title he could win.
Yeah,
The
that's
IBF.
his best chance to get an actual title shot because Matchroom are going to have them other three belts tied up.
Problem is, though,
So,
Crocker's got to fight Liam Parrow first because that's been mandated by the IBF.
yeah, he'll wait for that. He'll wait for that and get a
Yeah,
winner.
he'll fight the winner.
Yeah, that's good enough for him. Right, Shusha Carrington became a champion at last, picking up the WBC vacant featherweight title against a half-decent opponent in Castro. Had him in a bit of trouble in the early rounds once. You know, were we fearful that at some point that he was going to be a goner?
No, actually, that's what's so unique about that fight. I felt like Castro was going to be somebody who created some issues for Shushu, and he did exactly that. I think he was ready to come to fight, ready to try to win, and it made it an actually very interesting fight, an intriguing fight. And Shushu, I think as a person, I kind of questioned his ability to stop opponents at the highest level, and boy, was I wrong. And I was happy to be wrong because what a devastating knockout we got to see. I mean, that was a heck of a combination that just finished it off, and we got to see that Shushu is the real deal.
Shoe York City, baby. Shoe York City.
Jams, you were there, you called it on the watch along, ninth for a knockout. Tell me what's going through your mind.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I expected, matey, to be honest. I had the knockout on the prediction league. Unfortunately, I didn't get the right round. I had round 7. But I know Shushu can punch, man. I like this lad. I really do. Abdullah Mason, Shushu, some of my favourite fighters, mate, these American boxers. And I was expecting him to go there. I know Castro's tough. Carlos Castro's nobody's fool. But I knew Keyshawn. I knew Shushu could do it. And he did exactly what I expected, just like Shakur.
Absolutely.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. Right, very quickly, let's run through these cards. Jacob Bank defeated William Skull by a 12-round knockout, much to the delight of the Scandinavian Europeans. Did he surprise the opponents and Jams?
I was definitely surprised, and you know what? What a fantastic way to win and beat a former champion, and not just that, it kind of beating. I feel like whenever a fighter beats a former opponent of Canelo and does so in such traumatic fashion, just knocking a guy out like that, I think it puts them into another stratosphere in the division they're in. So great win.
Yeah, it was in the 6th round. He absolutely clattered him twice as well. Had him down twice. Skull was in all kinds of trouble. How he got through that 6th round, I will never know. But Jacob Bank is a real deal. But you know what's really annoying? Jacob Bank's number 4 in the world rankings. Arlen Begic is number 5. And guess who Hamza Shearer's fighting for the WBO title? He's missed out number 4 and gone straight to Begic at number 5. What a pussy move by Frank and Eddie and Hamza Shearaz. Just had to say that.
It's their way of making him wait, isn't it? Why you got a fight lined up? The Skull will do this.
They announced it an hour before the Skull fight, an hour before the Shearaz fight, just to make sure if Jacob Bank won, that they'd have no option but to fight him. So they got the Begic fight, who, by the way, fought a guy who was ranked over 400 in the rankings last time out and struggled.
Brigands. Right, moving on. Dina Torslin overwhelmed her opponent Alvarez by unanimous decision. No surprises there, gentlemen.
She's a class act. She wants her titles back, mate.
Yeah, I heard that the push now is to make the Dina versus Shanika fight. So much deserved, in my opinion. She was the one who was supposed to get that opportunity. Yeah, exactly.
It's signed, sealed, and delivered. Shanika Johnson in Australia will be next. Right. On that undercard, Mortensen and Willits. That was a good wee win for the Danish girl. It was a good wee fight as well. I don't know if you saw it, but yeah, that was good. Now let's move on to the unification fight between Xander Zayas and Baru, where Xander Zayas on home ground got a split decision win. Hardly surprising there, but a great fight nonetheless, gentlemen.
Yeah, I like the fight, mate. I watched it this morning. I didn't watch it live, obviously, because we were live doing the Shakur card. But I don't get how one of the judges gave it Baru by 116, 112, to be honest. But the other two judges got it spot on at 116, 112, and the right man won. I suppose that's all that matters. But Zayas looks good. I don't think he's going to be as good as some people think, though. I really don't. I don't think he's elite. Well, not yet, anyway, but he's still young, isn't he? So we'll see how it goes.
It's kind of a unique situation where Zayas is in. I feel like he achieved a great thing, so I did put him in my pound for pound rankings number 10. But that's where it's such a unique point in boxing right now. Nobody exactly solidifies themselves in the top 10 position. And what Zayas was able to do, though, while I don't want to say that he struggled, but there was times where he didn't look that impressive. And there was point in time where while working on the outside, he allowed Barao to pretty much use his athleticism to connect punches, very wide, very awkward punches. I think Zayas has all the talent in the world. We all know that. He's been touted as so. So my curiosity is if he can finally get somebody in the top 3 wise of the big names. Can he get Ortiz? Can he get Boots Ennis? Can he possibly even get the Fundora? And if he does get one of those 3 and wins, I think all of a sudden we're talking about one of the best, in the back half of boxing pertaining to 160, what would eventually be 160 and up. Zayas is very intriguing.
A good fight for him at the minute would be Josh Kelly at 154.
I was just going to say, what a unification fight to go 3.
So that's the thing, though, guys, is, per Eddie and Josh, they already have a fight signed and ready to go.
Boots is ready.
Boots denied it last night, though, didn't he? Boots said last night, I've not heard nothing about it.
He's not ready.
Yeah.
Which, if he doesn't take that fight, what a shame.
Yeah, that
what a
shame.
shame.
Pure duck. It shows he's a proper quack.
Jam says it how it is. Red corner boxing. Let's move on to the IBF. We just mentioned him there, Josh Kelly, super welterweight champion, overwhelmed Zaliev by majority decision. He had me worried at one point, Kelly, when he took that cuff and went down. I thought if Zaliev was a better finisher, it could have been all over. But overall, a great performance.
Absolutely, mate. I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of stick on the channel, Neutral. A lot of people saying Murtazaliev was robbed, Kelly's shit, Kelly done nothing, he was a runner, he done a Shakur, he done all this against De Los Santos. Yeah. I've had loads of it, mate. They obviously don't know what they're talking about. Kelly boxed a masterclass for the first. He lost the first round, he won the next 8, and he knocked him down in the 4th. What more can you do as Josh Kelly against a formidable man like Bakram Murtazaliev? He done everything he had to do. He schooled him. Yeah, the last 3 rounds were shaky as hell. He got dropped. He was in trouble, but he got through it, and that's what champions do. And he deserved his victory. And I, for one, are so happy for Pretty Boy Kelly.
Well said.
And I couldn't, as an American who watched from the other side, Josh Kelly grow as a fighter, I'm actually genuinely very happy for him. I always felt like Josh was in a weird situation pertaining to how his career was moved, not by him, by others. And you know what? I think the writing was on the wall that this was a real possibility. And Josh came out there and proved his best. He did exactly what I think a lot of us believers said, that all the potential was there. And Josh knew this was his one time possibly at a title, being the age he was. And he went out there and won that title. That was not a robbery. That was a very entertaining, close fight where what we saw was the supposed boogeyman of the division couldn't handle the mover, the boxer, and the true individual who had, in my opinion, showed his worth in front of the world. Martezaliev, we did not see. We saw one fight, and a lot of people put a lot into that solely one fight from Martezaliev.
Yeah, the Tim Tszyu defeat, as brutal as it was, one starts to question the validity of it, as a great win. However, I can't take anything away from Josh, but one thing I will question is, I don't know in percentage terms how confident I can be that he'll actually retain it. Not within the IBF rank, but should a unification come around, because I see some flaws. I don't like the way he holds his hands down by his knees, and there's chin issues for me. So Matchroom move him a bit more wisely. I don't know, maybe, but if he takes on Boots right now, mate, it's not going to end well.
He'll get turned out, mate. That's what I think they're going to do. They've got him the title. They'll cash him out against Boots, because then they still keep the title in the family, don't they?
Yeah. I remember Eddie promised Boots an IBF title back in the day.
He said Eddie actually said it's already signed before the Martezaliev fight. He officially said on the podcast it's actually signed.
I don't believe what Eddie says at the best of times.
I'm wondering if it's more Eddie being Eddie, and maybe he presented a contract to Josh. Josh signed his part, and they were yet to give that contract over to Boots. And that's probably exactly what it is.
A little A4 provisional contract. Well, look, that being said, let's move on to the last fight that I want to cover here, and that was Josh Padley versus Raul Belmedi. Josh Padley, second round knockout. I absolutely made up for him. He looked super good last night. And that Shakur Stevenson experience has really brought this young man along. Jams, what do you think?
Yeah, completely agree with what you just said, mate. It brought him along. He looks strong. He looks confident. At the end of the day, you go six rounds or so, whatever he did with Shakur Stevenson, you're going to learn a few things. You're going to learn how to move. You're going to learn how elite boxers work. And he's taken that forward. And look at his performances since. He only had 5 stoppages, and yet he blows out this Frenchman in 2 rounds. That says the confidence level is on a new trajectory. And he is just looking like a real champion. And he's now got that EBU European Super Feather title. Congratulations, Josh Padley, mate. And there's more big fights out there for him. And I can see him going places. He could get to world level. I don't think he'll dominate. I don't think he's going to be elite, but he could have a good career and make a bit of cash. He was working as an electrician just over a year ago. So congrats to Josh Padley, mate. So proud of him.
Absolutely. And at 130 pound blunts, £5 lighter than when he fought Shakur. He seemed to look a lot better out of the weight. Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more. And not just that, I couldn't. You can't be happier for a guy like Josh Padley. Again, he was literally less than a year ago a full-time electrician who was hoping to make it to the highest level of the sport to be able to support his family off of a boxing career. And he finally has made it. And like Jam said, I think what's interesting about the 130-pound division, it is kind of a wide open division. So his ability to possibly get to the world title level and actually at least win a world title, I think is a very real probability at that weight class. In neutral, he does look better at 130. He looks fresher. He looks more solid. And usually you don't see that when a fighter cuts back down a weight class. Usually you see it when they move up. Ironically, he looks better, stronger, and more willing to impose his will on people, which, I mean, goodness gracious, what a fantastic knockout.
Fully agree with that totally. Right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this podcast, episode 1 of the Sunday review session with myself, Jams, and Blunts and Boxing, panelist here to talk about what we saw last night. We will be back next Sunday for episode 2. Make sure you join us for that. We'll be reviewing the Nick Ball card there. But for now, this show was sponsored by Easy Storage and BoxingFightZone.com. Make sure you go and check them all out in the bio. We appreciate it. If you're new to Red Corner Boxing, please give us a like and subscribe. We truly appreciate it. Get that notification bell going. Top quality content. That's what we like to preach here. It's what we like to deliver. My thanks again to the chaps. We'll be back tomorrow night. We got an interview with Eli Frankham, Mr. Neutral Meats. Make sure you join us for that, 7 p.m. And Wednesday, you've got Prediction League. It's back. Blunts, are you enjoying it?
I'm definitely enjoying it. I appreciate you both having me on, and it's always great to talk to you guys. You guys are my friends in this game, so I appreciate you guys.
God bless you, Blunts, man. Appreciate you too, brother.
Yeah, pleasure's all ours, my man. Pleasure's all ours. And you're third place going strong. Check out the tables. They're all out on X for Prediction League. Keep up the charts. Keep up to see if you can beat them or at least match them. These are top quality predictors. You got your work cut out. Well, thank you, James. It's time to go. My name is Mr. Neutral. Signing out for now. We'll see you next time.
God bless y'all.
I'm moving. I'm going. I can't stop. I got motion. I'm moving. I'm going. Can't lose focus. I got motion. I'm moving. I'm going.
Red Corner Boxing.